AskReddit.
Some best Reddit confession stories. I stole $250 worth of food from McDonald's while I worked there. Posted by Pilot 19 hours ago. I stole $250 worth of food from McDonald's while I worked there. So I worked at a McDonald's for just over 6 months and managed to steal well over $200 worth of food without even getting caught. Now, for everyone that works or has worked at a McDonald's, I'm sure you are aware that people tend to take an extra burger and eat it when no managers are watching. That's not what I did. Basically, each manager has their own register code which is used to go through with certain actions in the register which the regular staff isn't trusted with, like opening the register for change mistakes and the likes. These codes are also used to give employees discounts on food items and for the managers to avoid the cost of their meals, therefore eating for free. Here's where my theft comes into play. Obviously, the people that should know a manager's code is the managers themselves. I was able to figure out one of the manager's codes by watching them punch it in. I then secretly used this code to void my own food orders at least one time per shift. Although I was only a part-time worker, this was still 2 or 3 times a week. For 3 months. Given that an average meal in Canada is around $12–15 and going on my assumption that I stole around 15 to 20 meals this way, I'd say I finessed around $250 from a McDonald's, all without anyone knowing. TL Drive, I found out a way to void the cost of my meals at McDonald's and stole around $250 worth of food. Comments. I've always been perturbed that McDonald's employees don't get a free staff meal. Every restaurant I've ever cooked in, eating is on the house. Voids for fast food restaurants are usually tracked. I'm sure someone would have found out eventually. When I worked fast food, we had a guy creating orders for guests, fulfilling the orders, then post-voiding out items on the order and pocketing the cash. He got away with this for a few months. Good on you, but perhaps taking an extra burger or bagging some leftover things would have been better. Stealing's only safe when there's no trail involved. I've scammed Apple into replacing my devices twice, so I've owned Apple since 2017, and my first device from them was the iPhone 7 Plus, which unfortunately came without a headphone jack. So I've bought the AirPods in 2018, loved them, but unfortunately in 2019 during summer I've left them on the sun for literally the whole day. The right AirPod had deformed, the plastic kinda melted, and sound quality had noticeably decreased, plus it wasn't that comfortable anymore because of the ridged plastic. Since I didn't have anything to lose, I took a hairdryer and burnt the crap of the AirPod. Okay, not literally numbers. I deformed the plastic so that the headphone piece started to separate and even the bottom stem started to come out. I then called Apple in Poland saying I was on the bus when the AirPod got warm and uncomfortable, but I ignored it. Minutes later it got super hot and it started sizzling and I threw it out of my ear on the floor, and that I have witnesses, etc. I didn't, but there were no cameras in the bus, so I just presented the story as bad as I could, also told them I had an earache for a couple of hours. The lady was very nice and asked a lot of questions. At last she told me to bring them to the store for further analysis. I got worried here. After 6 days my AirPods, without the case, have both been replaced, and I was delighted, haha. My second story, also from 2019, is with Apple Watch Series 3. My watch was charging, and my nephew was over, who was only 8. He tried putting it on his wrist and dropped the watch. There was a hairline crack at the bottom, screen didn't turn on. I was mad as hell. Tried reconnecting to the charger and resetting it, without luck. Since it was done for life, I was thinking, what can I possibly do to get a free replacement? I probably would, if not the crack. But once it goes into the repair there will be history of it. I literally didn't know where I came up with it, but also decided to blame the battery. What did I do? I boiled it until the screen started to separate or something more aggressive started to happen. And it did load. I saw a lot, and I mean a lot of bubbles coming out of the display after like 3 minutes of boiling it, gave it a good extra 3 minutes, and took it out and placed it on the charger. I heard something from the inside isn't right and I came back in 5 minutes. The screen started to detach and the battery has become a balloon. I could see the inside, called Apple and said my watch was charging when something popped and suddenly the display came out cracked and the battery has puffed up. Long story short, after 2 weeks I've got my watch replaced and sold it to buy the Series 5, which was coming out the next month. Life is life. I can't afford to have the latest and greatest when it comes out. I enjoy Apple products, that's why I use them. I was lucky there though, hahaha. I'm going to turn myself into the police for stealing money from my parents. Some time ago my parents discovered the robbery, they scolded me and did nothing to me, but since then I cannot bear the guilt and the pain of what I did. The amount was $2,000. Since I was younger I have done bad things, but my parents never do something to teach me a lesson, so this time I decided that to put a stop to myself the best thing would be to give myself up. Comment: you could do that. Or you could do something that would actually benefit your parents. You are still being selfish by doing something for yourself. You feel guilty and want a quick fix. It is just some Redditors' 2 cents, so take it as you will, but maybe pay it forward by doing an act of service for your parents. Build that she shed your mom always wanted, start saving and buy them a cruise, or start fixing the broken trust between you all. It's obvious they don't want Iku in jail. They were readily willing to forgive you, repay their kindness and graciousness by doing something thoughtful for them. Sorry for being rude, but I've done something similar, and it is better just to fix the relationship rather than go to jail to avoid it. Many years ago in school I saw the wallet of a classmate fall out of his pocket and took it. I knew him. We were both definitely in the loser section, if you know what I mean. And we even did some school projects together along with the other kids that didn't got any real friends, and when I saw it, he was in the seat right next to me. The teacher wasn't here, so we were playing card games with the row in front of us. I picked it up. It was a real nice leather wallet. I did put it in my pocket and never said a word about it. When he noticed he lost it, he got like real sad. His parents would get really mad at him. His ID card and everything was in THERE, but no money BTW. But I felt like now it is too late to say the truth. Later I found out he's actually of SADIST, probably the result of abuse I'm guessing, and as soon as someone talked to a girl he liked he got like real mad at them, so I didn't felt it bad cause it seemed he isn't a good person either after all. Half a year later the class changed and we were no longer in the same class. What shall I say, it's such a nice wallet, I kept it. And now years later I'm actually using it as my wallet to remind me every day to not be an asshole, and it's kinda working, so I made something good out of something bad. Comments: give me my fucking wallet back, asshole. Lol. This post is hilarious, you dirty thief. Just cause he turned out to be a sadist doesn't take away from the fact that you stole from him years before. But hey, whatever makes you feel good. Number the saddest and the thief. I steal weed from my aunt and am still getting away with it. So these past few weeks during quarantine I have been going to my aunt's to use her bike pump since she lives next to us. Well, one day I get the idea to steal about a gram of it. And I've been doing it like once or twice a week and I've been high almost the whole quarantine. Comments: fee. Aunt knows and she's allowing it. Unless auntie has a large stash and hasn't noticed the difference yet. For sure she does. Just roll a doobie of your own, not stolen. Walk in there and spark that thing with her, definitely, hahaha. Stole parents' savings over $18,000. I'm 26 years old and was brought up by good parents. I have nothing to complain about my upbringing. I flunked out of my first university my 4th year after hating my major and am about to graduate in computer science at a different university with just a bachelor's. My dad is a quadriplegic after a car accident in 2009, and my family has to take care of his well-being. Brushing his teeth, bathing him, transferring him from bed to wheelchair, and everything in between. My mom is a nurse practitioner and chiropractor. She's a hard worker and her whole life she's worked hard to support our family. We drown in debt for us to keep her clinic open, a roof over our heads, and keep me and my younger brother in college. This is where I'm utterly opposed and ashamed of. My mother trusted me to hold on to some money for her every month. Deposits ranged from $2,000 to $7,500. In total, she deposited about $38,000. We used that money to pay for when my car broke down and me and my brother's tuition. Instead of putting into a savings where it'll be barely used, I had it in my checkings. Long story short, over a course of a year, I spent $18,000 on food, booze, vapes, gas, and a mixture of necessary and unnecessary items. More so unnecessary. eating out at expensive restaurants, buying gifts for people, etc. I spent this money that wasn't mine. Now I'm sitting in my room right now contemplating suicide because I very might be about to kill my mother with a heart attack because she has high blood pressure and under immense stress and anxiety. The only reason I can't is because suicide would be the easy way out and I don't even deserve a quick death. But I can't muster up the courage to tell my mom. My dad knows from earlier this morning, but he is more afraid of my mom's reaction. It's pathetic and shameful beyond comprehension what I've done. I just pray to God that he doesn't let my mom be punished for my wrongdoing. I think I may have been overly exaggerated about the suicide. I cherish life, even though I've done something as shameful as this. I am Christian, Baptist, and don't tend on wasting life God has given me, even though what I've done is inexcusable and outright disgusting. I don't want people to worry about that because I understand it wouldn't solve anything. It's selfish and immature of me to have even said that, especially when there are people out there that really struggle in a worse situation. I think subconsciously I needed help finding courage to face reality. Instead of just complaining about how difficult life was, it's no excuse to make things worse for those that I love. Today I just got caught shoplifting at Walmart. I'm so dumb. I used to go to this Walmart which is a few blocks away from home. And I used to go there and steal medium-small size of boxes of chocolates that I used them to sell them outside the store, a few steps from the main entrance, so I'd go and ask any stranger if he or she could help me out to pay for my college debt by selling them one too small for $1. Since I look like a kid, they'd never imagine that I were using that money to buy drugs and continue on with my addiction problem to opiates. This time I even had money enough to pay the boxes, still decided to steal them by hiding them in my jacket's pocket. Once I was about to walk outside the exit, one bodyguard stopped me and told me to get all the stuff out of my pockets. In front of him there was a lady which was part of the team and started saying to get me to a small room where they searched up if I had something else hidden on my clothes. She started saying that she knew I had stolen before and I had been caught up on the before. She instantly said to the bodyguards to call the cops. I asked her if she could not do that and let me go. I said I'd pay for what I stole and please let me go, I won't come back again, but she kept saying to say that to the cops. Then I put a crybaby face begging her to let me go, please you won't see me here. I don't want to be taken by the cops because this is Mexico and if I were taken I'd be beaten up by then and get detained in a small cell for the next 74 hours. I've been there, so I know that. She looked at me and told me to grab my stuff and took me out of the store. Once we got from the exit, she told me that she would let me go just once because I looked like a good kid that shouldn't be doing this stupid type of stuff. I apologized to her and thanked her a lot to have given me this one opportunity to leave without any consequences besides not coming again, of course. I started walking outside the parking lot and going away from the place when I saw that cops were coming to the Walmart's entrance where I just had left minutes ago, so I speed up my walking as fast as possible to get the fuck out of there before it was too late, because if the cops were to see me, they would not care if I was forgiven and would have get me arrested and got me locked up for who knows how much time. Now I guess I learned and try not to come back at doing these things that seemed easy to do. Tomorrow I will go to the nearest store and buy some chocolates to sell them out. The problem is that this Walmart had a lot of people where it was easy to get more money and I don't think I would have go again, even if I don't get to the entrance and only be selling outside of it. Comments lol bodyguards. You mean the 70 years old man at the exit asking to see a receipt? He's from Mexico. They got cholos at the entrances. I used to do the same shit back in school. When I was 14 to 15, haha, used the money to buy a PS Vita. I did end up getting caught and banned from Asda for life, but it was worth it. But I will never do it again for sheer embarrassment of being caught, and I just don't feel a need to since I have a job and can pay for things. I am 23 BTW.